What is up, everybody? Welcome back to From the Crypt, where Derek and I discuss all manner of different movie and music and entertainment topics, sometimes video games, sometimes absolute dog shit stupidity that has no bearing on anything whatsoever. That's just who we are as people.
Yeah.
And we are greeted today by a very special guest that's never been on this channel before ever. Toby, welcome to the channel for the first time.
Thanks, buddy.
No, I kid. Of course, Toby has been a regular on the show for its inception, or since its inception, so.
Yeah, because despite being friends with both of these guys for several years now, they finally decided to start valuing my opinion.
Every once in a while. Don't push yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, who says I value your opinion? We're here just purely for sex appeal. That's all.
Oh my! All right. Well, before we have to put an age restriction on this this video,
Oh, it's getting an age restriction regardless.
yeah. All right. So, I guess Toby, I'll start with you. How you been? What you been up to? What you been listening to? What you been playing? All that kind of stuff.
I've been pretty good. Been on the uphill recently. Still listening to a whole lot of Deftones. I also kind of got back into a little sleep token kick, as well as I recently just rediscovered Bill Murray, the band, not the actor. They're pretty lit. If you guys haven't heard of Bill Murray, Bilmuri, they're pretty fucking great.
Yeah, they're pretty dope.
Yeah. Aside from work, that's about all I've been doing.
Not been playing anything or dabbling in anything.
No, not really. I mean, I've been popping into Helldivers with you guys, but that's about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I fuck with Bill Murray. I haven't listened to a lot of their stuff, but I have definitely heard a few of their songs. I followed them on Instagram. I'm morphing into a Gen Z, I think, because I find myself on Instagram more and more every day. I don't know what it is, but that's just how I keep up with all the bands and shit that I listen to and the artists and stuff that I follow. And they post some funny shit on Instagram too. Sometimes kills me.
They're fucking goofballs.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely some electric callboy vibes for sure.
You have to be fucking goofballs to have Kevin James as your breakdown call out.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, they're pretty good. I need to check out more of their stuff, but yeah. Okay, so sorry, I spaced out for a second. Derek. Derek, what's up? How you been? What you been listening to? What you been playing?
Tired as fuck. Because I've still been sick with something else. I've been playing Helldivers, a little bit of Back for Blood, finishing it up. And then I started Spider-Man Remastered last night with intention of playing Miles Morales because I haven't, and then Spider-Man 2 because I still haven't. God, what have I been listening to? Man, I don't know. I haven't really left the house. I haven't been listening to a whole lot of anything, I guess. What about you?
As far as listening goes, I got into a really weird Soundgarden vibe today. I don't know what happened, but somebody was talking about the Beatles with me, and I was like, yeah, the best Beatles song is the Soundgarden cover of Come Together. Spoiler alert, I'm not a huge fan of the Beatles, so... But yeah, no, the second I said that, I was like, wait a minute, I kind of really want to listen to some Soundgarden today, so... On top of the fact that these people right outside my window over here are just working on this little 4-step porch, and they've been working on it for 5 days now. It's at the ass crack of dawn. Loud as shit. I'm over here trying to play some WoW, and could barely hear myself think. So I just started blasting some Soundgarden, dude, and it's pretty cool, pretty good stuff. Love
Oh,
me
yeah.
some Soundgarden, dude. And yeah, that's all I've been playing as well. I jumped on Helldivers with you guys a couple times, but this Pandaria remix is fucking sick, dude. It's so good. This is the best thing that they've done probably since Legion, in my opinion. The Battle for Azeroth was okay. Shadowlands was poo-poo dookie, and Dragonflight was really good, but this Pandaria remix is a whole different level, dude. Whole different level. So good. So, yeah, that's it. I've been streaming that and just leveling up my character and just chilling in Pandaria because that's what I do.
Speaking of WoW, I've been on this, I haven't really had time to act on it, but I've been on this kick where, I really want to play, some old games.
Yeah.
Not necessarily WoW, because that was never really my wheelhouse, but just, early 2000, PS2 era video games. Just
Tony
Hawk, fucking, Medal of Honor, the old Medal of Honor games. I don't know. I've had this inkling to play. Just plug in the old PS2 and just start going to town on some old single player games.
Do it.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that here in a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been kind of wanting to go back through Max Payne again.
I've also been on a pretty massive Marvel kick recently, so I kind of want to go and
X-Men Legends.
I do have X-Men Legends, and I've actually never played it. I bought it from a used game store a couple years ago, and I never played it. Dude, I bought it because I know it's basically just Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but with the X-Men.
Yeah.
And I fuck with that a lot, but I've never actually played it.
Dude, change that. Make that happen.
Also, I'm pretty sure Ultimate Alliance is on PlayStation. Digital, isn't it?
Fuck! Speaking of Ultimate Alliance, I was telling you guys...
It was PS3.
I was telling you guys before we hopped on here that I was in Davenport yesterday.
Yeah.
And I went into Video Games Etc. for the first time in a very long time. And I was just kind of looking around, and I saw they had this case, this big glass case that had a sign on it that said retro. And it was a bunch of old, Sega Genesis games and, PS1 games and, but it was, the big names, the big fucking hard-to-find shit now. And at the bottom of that case, they had an Xbox 360 game. Just one Xbox 360 game. And it was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. And it was selling for $95 fucking dollars.
Yep, that's true.
I had no idea that game was going for that much right now. I have it. It's sitting right over there.
Yeah. I've also got it somewhere. PlayStation 2.
That's fucking insane to me.
I also just looked it up that it was ported to the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I have it digitally. I have both of them digitally on the PS4 or PS5.
We were going to stream it back before we had PlayStation 5s. We were talking about streaming it, you and I, on Cosmic Pizza, but...
It's a weird... Yeah, we never ended up streaming it because it was a weird thing where it got ported, but then they've since been taken off the store. I don't think you can buy them anymore. But I bought them and they were still up there, so I already have both of them. But the issue with streaming them that we were running into was your account had to have the game, and we couldn't play split screen for some reason. I don't remember. It was a whole mess, and we ended up just scrapping that idea, I think.
Yeah. Well...
Which is lame. They need to fucking put those games back on the store because they're great fucking games.
Yeah. Dude, we could just, say, fuck Helldivers, fuck Back 4 Blood. Let's just get Ultimate Alliance down and play some co-op Ultimate Alliance. That'd be sick.
Goddamn, Toby. I see a Marvel Ultimate Alliance Gold Edition for $360 for $515.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I mean, it's a damn good game, but I don't know if I wouldn't spend $500 on any game, but...
Well, actually, here, I see 1 and 2 for $360 for $35.
I suppose that's what happens. Marketplace, you can't buy it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get the digital copies. It becomes a rarity.
Yeah. Well, speaking of superheroes and Ultimate Alliance and X-Men Legends and all that stuff, if you couldn't tell by the massive X-Men 97 poster that's up on the screen right now, and Toby's Wolverine shirt and his whole collection of X-Men right behind his right shoulder, we're talking about X-Men 97 today, guys. The new Disney Plus show that is a reboot, if you will, of the 90s cartoon that came out a while ago and ceased for a while. And at least that's how I understand it. I did not watch the original cartoon myself, at least not more than a couple episodes. It just wasn't my cup of tea at the time that it was out and on TV, you know. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about it today. We'll start out with some less spoilery stuff, of course, at first, and I will put a spoiler warning on screen for when we switch over into spoiler territory. So keep that in mind.
As well as
say that again. You cut out. Entirely.
Yeah, you were cutting out really bad.
I said we will also be putting up a verbal warning as well in case you're listening and not watching the video.
Oh yeah. We'll mention for sure when we start talking about spoilers. But for now, let's just go ahead and give a general idea of what is going on. Like, what is the show? Okay, and I don't know if Derek, you want to take this one, or Toby, but what is the synopsis? Spoiler-free synopsis. Getting into the show, what was the whole reason?
Toby, you got it, because you know more about it than what I do.
Well, the synopsis of this show is that people really loved the X-Men the 90s cartoon, and we all wanted to see it back, I think. And somebody somewhere in the Marvel hierarchy decided that they were going to actually listen to what the fans wanted for once.
Hell yeah, love to see it.
Well, also it's because they've dug themselves in a hole, so right now they really do need to be in like full-on ass-kissing mode and winning everybody back.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know how long this show has been in the works, but it's been a fucking minute. I mean, granted, the MCU's kind of been a dumpster fire for a fucking minute as well, but I mean, shit, we had X-Men 97, like, toys and merchandise and shit at Walmart for fucking... Like, we had it before the trailer even came out.
Yeah.
So, it's been a thing for a long time. And, I mean, animated series like this take a long time to make, just on principle. So
it says in... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's actually an interesting thing that I haven't thought about, is when did this idea first come into fruition?
Said in June of 2019 that the creative team was discussing a revival with Disney. And then June 21st, I think, or June 2021, sorry. It's been for a while.
This has been in the works since, like, right shortly after Endgame, then.
Oh yeah.
Damn. I guess we all knew that Marvel is kind of like, that's kind of what they do. They plan super far ahead, but
Yeah. Well, they should have planned a little bit better. Not in the sense of X-Men, just in the MCU with the burnout and the overload and everything like that.
Yeah.
Because that's where I've been with the MCU for a long time. But the series overall, like X-Men 97, it is the best thing that the MCU has put out in either a very long time or ever. Because, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It's kind of a weird gray area. Like, is it MCU canon? We don't know. Is it just a... Like, I guess, where do you draw the line? Like, is everything under the Marvel banner part of the MCU now? Or is it like... Because it's not... I feel like this whole vibe, the whole identity of X-Men 97 really kind of seems like it's more staying true to that old 90s animated like shared universe between the X-Men and the Spider-Man cartoon and all of the in-betweens than it is trying to be part of the MCU. At least that's how I was reading it.
Yeah. So what it says here is, although Marvel Studios decided not to make X-Men 97 canon to the MCU, the animated revival seemingly still exists as part of the wider multiverse, as spotted by fans moments before the attack on Genosha. In episode 5, Remember It, the Watcher's silhouette can be briefly seen in the sky. So, to a degree, it is. It's within the multiverse, but if that's the case, then so is the Sam Raimi verse, and
so is all of them.
Everything,
basically.
Everything from Fox and all that kind of stuff. So, so yes and no. Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about Madam Web or anything that Sony's put out other than the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies, but yeah. So synopsis of why we're here, done. What about the synopsis of the actual story? What is the story going into this? What are the X-Men doing? Why are they? Why does the show exist? Like, what is the show giving us?
Without getting into spoiler territory, essentially it picks up. Okay, first and foremost, this spoiler warning I don't think should extend to the original show because it's been out for like over 30 years.
Yeah.
Or almost 30. So if you haven't watched the original show yet, fucking figure it out.
Just stay within like episode 1, roughly. Maybe 1 and 2, but basically
the idea of X-Men 97, it picks up right after the events of the series finale of the original show, in which Charles Xavier dies. And the story is... It essentially follows the X-Men trying to find their way without their leader.
And also the fact that Xavier's death made him like a martyr, and so it generated a bunch of sympathy for the mutant community as a whole.
Exactly.
Right. So, overall, this is probably the last thing we talk about before I throw up a spoiler warning, but what are your overall thoughts? Overall attraction to it? Overall things it could have done better? Is there anything bad about it? All that kind of stuff. Go. Toby first, go.
Why don't you start this one off? You haven't really said a whole lot yet.
Oh, I was just acting as the watcher of sorts. Just kind of...
Oh, I got you.
Trickling down into you guys. But I mean, overall, my thoughts are just... I thought it was great, dude. I didn't really expect to like it as much as I did. Just because like I said, I didn't really watch the original show, but and I don't know why either, because I love cartoons. I've literally got like 3 or 4 cartoon characters tattooed on me right now, and I plan on getting more. I love cartoons, and I don't know what I would have not enjoyed about it, but yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this reboot of the original cartoon, and I thought it was very well done from a less biased standpoint, because like I said, I didn't really watch the original one, but the characters are fun. I didn't think that there was any one character that was lacking, other than a couple of characters that I think they're going to probably touch up more in the next season. Like Bishop, for example, they didn't really go too much into Bishop or anything until the very end, and all that kind of stuff. I did think that Wolverine's existence within the show was not as prominent as I would have liked to see, but I understand why they didn't put him as front and center, because the story does lend itself more so to a Rogue and Jean and Cyclops centered story, and that's cool, that's fine. But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. Definitely would watch again, absolutely. And I definitely am looking forward to the new season. So
hell yeah.
Same here. Yeah, I really liked it. The one thing that Kevin Feige knew to do is you do not bring the show back if you do not have the theme song, because that theme song, even since '92, has just been so iconic. It's one of the best intros. Like I told my son when we were watching this, I was like, rule number 1 about the X-Men cartoon is you do not skip the intro ever. You just fucking don't do that. So yeah, musically it felt like a natural evolution. Same with like the kind of art style, because it is different. It's not the exact same as like 92 and through 97. There was one thing I wasn't the happiest with, just based out of personal bias and mess or whatever. But other than that, it paid off really well, even though I'm still not the happiest about it, but I'm not like holding it against it. If anything, I feel like fans of certain mutants just drew a short straw. That's all.
I assume we'll be talking about that a little bit more in the spoiler section.
Oh yeah, I will gladly talk about that in spoilers. But not
okay,
yet.
good.
I also have words on that. And as for my thoughts on it, I mean, dude, I didn't really watch the original cartoon as a kid. My introduction to the Marvel universe was the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s. And my introduction to the X-Men was the episode of the Spider-Man cartoon where he crosses over with the X-Men from the animated X-Men series.
Yeah.
That was like the first time that I remember anyway seeing like characters from different properties crossing over, and I thought that was really cool.
Hell yeah.
And I 100% agree with you. The theme song had to stay the same.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that it did, because like even before this show, 97 anyway, came out, dude, that's like one of the top 3 most iconic cartoon intros of all time. And I didn't even realize how much that song meant to me personally until I heard it played in Miss Marvel, of all places. I was watching Miss Marvel, and there's that scene at the very end where it's revealed that she has mutant genetics, and as soon as they say the word mutant, you can hear the little da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Hell yeah.
Like,
Spoiler alert. Thanks.
But, yeah, my mind's eye of Marvel has always been that 90s like animated shared universe with the Spider-Man cartoon and the Incredible Hulk and the X-Men and everything. So seeing it come back now was like really fucking cool, and I'd love to see it continue on to certain other characters who also had a show that didn't get a conclusion and left on a cliffhanger. Make it happen, Marvel.
Your move, Disney. Come on now.
What show? Spider-Man?
Yeah,
okay.
Spider-Man.
I thought there was a different one in the mix that I wasn't aware of.
The original X-Men cartoon, like, didn't end on a cliffhanger, really. Like, it ended with the death of Charles Xavier, and that was like it felt like a pretty final thing, you know? Like, it was a solid finale to the show. But literally the last words spoken in the last episode of the Spider-Man animated series is Madam Web, of all people, saying, we're going to find the real Mary Jane. Like, they built up this thing to where they're like, we're going to go on this crazy adventure, and then that season got canceled, and we never saw the conclusion to that.
Did you not see the thing?
What thing?
The thing in the last episode of 97?
Yes, I saw it.
The thing?
I did see it.
They're chilling by a window?
I did.
Okay.
I saw it. Yep.
Kind of talks a little bit about it. And assuming that takes place after the events of the Spider-Man show. Like I said, I didn't watch any of the 90s cartoons, but I did see that, and I was like, oh, word. That's a thing that's just chilling there in the last episode. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But
yeah.
But yeah, overall, sounds just like across the board, it's good stuff, and hopefully Marvel will continue to do said good stuff with the show and with future properties. Hopefully, I am really hoping that at the end of the day, even if it's not MCU canon, I hope, just because I am a giant fan of Easter eggs and foreshadowing and all that kind of stuff, I'm hoping that they do kind of like hint at what the X-Men lineup is going to be by the time the X-Men are introduced into the MCU. So, like, we already know that it's going to be a bitch to recast Wolverine. It's going to be a bitch to recast, like, some of the bigger ones that people have already, like, in their heads grown to just know as that character. But
Patrick Stewart is Xavier, and Ian McKellen is Magneto.
Because even if they did a younger route, they're still lost on that one because their younger counterparts also were pretty iconic in those movies. So like, it's gonna be a tough thing to do. But I have faith that they're gonna be able to. I don't normally have an issue with the MCU's casting of any characters, really. Like, there's a couple of characters that maybe I would have cast a little different, but for the most part, I think that they've cast just about any character I can think of pretty well.
I would say Reed Richards as Pedro Pascal. I don't agree with that casting, but that's the only issue I think I've had with the MCU's casting. That's it.
I don't mind Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, but there's just several other people I wish it was instead.
Yeah,
like that's my biggest deal. But
Pedro Pascal is a hell of an actor, though. So
he is. Yeah,
I'm interested to see where they go with that.
Yeah, I have faith he'll do the character justice, but it's just a matter of, like, there's so many people that in my head I had pictured way before Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
I think the MCU, like, they've got a few missteps in their casting for, like, in my opinion, but for the most part, like, the vast majority of the MCU's characters have been, like, very well cast. They have a lot of, like, they've created a lot of, like, definitive versions of those characters. Like, I can't imagine seeing anybody else as Iron Man other than RDJ now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of really good decisions under their belt.
And that's why I'm pumped to see where they go with the X-Men in the MCU. Even though this may not be canon, I hope that they do kind of reveal at least which heroes we might end up seeing in the new lineup for the X-Men, because I don't think it's going to be this. And I'm shooting through a fucking like black hole here, but I would even go so far as to say they're going to leave Wolverine out for a little while. I don't think they're going to have Wolverine in the newest lineup of the MCU's X-Men. And I don't know if that'll be a mistake or if it's just like a matter of like building some, reputation first for the new X-Men and stuff. But and there's so many different stories that they could tell within the X-Men, because it's a big universe anyway. There's been tons and tons and tons of comics and stuff that they could reference, but I'm hoping we get a couple of hints, here and there through shows like 97 and so forth. But
well, we know Beast is going to be one of them, but he should be.
Yeah,
that's Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah,
so.
He's already been pretty much. He might as well have been confirmed. Yeah, in a post-credit scene. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. I love Beast. I'm really hoping we see Gambit in the MCU somewhere, and I would love to see my girl Storm, dude. I would. I love Storm so much, but
I would like to see Rogue done justice in a movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm alone in this saying that the portrayal of Rogue in the X-Men movies has not been very good.
Yeah. No, that's accurate.
I would agree.
And I think, I know, Jacob, you're not, super well-versed in the comics or anything, and I know you don't really... X-Men, you said X-Men's not really your wheelhouse, but I assume that your, baseline knowledge of the X-Men comes from those movies.
Yeah.
And the reason I assume that is because when I finally convinced Jacob to watch X-Men 97, he fucking messaged me one night and was like, dude, does Rogue have super strength? And I was like, yeah.
She always has.
And I know that, I knew that she can take people's powers and stuff, she drains their life force and powers or whatever. I knew that was part of her skill set, but the scene that made me say that was her just lobbing a fucking Sentinel's head like it was nothing. And I was like, damn. Wait a minute, hold up, back up a little bit. And I didn't see her sap anybody's powers before that point, so I was like, oh shit, does she have super strength, Because yes, a good majority of my knowledge is from the movies, the live-action movies and stuff, but I have a little bit of knowledge from just personal research that I've done, and those big, fucking hero encyclopedias, those Marvel encyclopedias that have, characters' power levels and what their powers are and shit. I have nerded out to no end with those things, but Rogue was just never one of those people that was front and center in the people I was researching. So I had no idea that she had super strength, or I actually entirely forgot that she could fly, as a matter of fact, until this show. Because the X-Men live action movies, they don't really touch up on Rogue at all, other than the fact that she can't touch anybody. That's the whole centerpiece to her character, is that she can't touch anybody.
I don't even think it's ever established in the movies that she steals their powers if she touches them. I think it's always just been
she kills
if she touches them, they die. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they definitely touch that she gets them, because what is it? The first one, Wolverine stabs her, and then she touches him to absorb his healing.
Oh, yeah.
Even I think it's Jean, maybe Storm, says that to him. But then in the second one, she kisses Bobby, and then she and you can see her breath and stuff. So
yeah.
So no, in the movies they definitely touch on that.
Very briefly though, it was pretty brief.
They don't touch on it enough, because Rogue is a fucking fantastic character. She's honestly like, I think Rogue is in my top 3 favorite X-Men.
That's fair.
Yeah,
she's pretty
that
baller.
checks out.
I mean, she's pretty baller. She's nuts, and especially in '97, she fucking she rolls.
She definitely got the time.
Yeah.
But okay, so that being said, we're about 30 minutes in, and we're chomping at the bit. I can already tell to start talking about some spoilers. So I'm gonna go ahead and put up the spoiler warning. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make it bigger too, so anybody popping in at any point can see it. It's gonna go right there. Big ass spoilers ahead, right there on the screen. And I'm gonna say spoilers just a couple more times right here because we're gonna be talking about spoilers in the next bit of this spoiler-filled spoiler section. So, if
not spoilers on Cars.
Yeah, it's a movie show spoilers. You have been warned. You have been warned.
That there will be spoilers.
Ample amount of times about the spoilers. So, I don't want to see shit in the comments about us not telling you that there's spoilers. Hell, I might even put it in the title of this video.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but if you do not want any spoilers, of course, click off this video, go watch the rest of the show, and then come back. Also, while you're at it, make sure you like the video if you're liking so far, and subscribe to the channel, because that's what you should do anyway. And then go watch the rest of our shit. So,
yes.
Now that that's out of the way.
Episode King 5.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking damn it, dude. Shit. Yeah. I was fucking pissed off. Like, legitimately fucking mad. It was awesome. But man, I was fucking pissed. Alright, that's all I've got.
Hey, X-Men has never really been... I don't think I've ever read an X-Men comic, to be honest with you.
Oh, shit.
All of my knowledge of the X-Men comes from, like, just collected knowledge of the Marvel comics in general. But I know about Genosha. So when they said Genosha, the first time Genosha was mentioned in this show, I was like, oh, fuck. It gave me the same feeling. I don't think you... Derek, did you watch The Walking Dead? Were you a Walking Dead fan?
Up through season 3.
Okay, so this doesn't apply to you, but I know you're a fucking Walking Dead fan, Jacob.
Yes, I am.
So you'll get this. When I first heard the word Genosha spoken in this show, I got the same feeling that I got on that one episode of The Walking Dead where Negan first shows up. Clubs the fuck out of somebody and you don't see who it is.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had to wait a whole fucking year to find out who it was.
And then you make a bet with your best friend and you both end up being right. That was wild.
Yeah.
Hovey and I were like, no, it's this guy. And Hovey was like, no, it's this guy. And then we were both watching the fucking episode from completely different states. And I was like, God damn it. Nobody wins. We both win.
Yeah, the massacre of Genosha is a very, very pivotal moment in the X-Men lore. And I knew somebody was gonna die. As soon as they fucking brought the word Genosha into the show, I knew somebody was dying, I just didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I'm kind of bummed about who it was as well.
Yeah.
I was also super bummed. I knew that the mid-season finale was going to probably kill somebody, just based on how violent the show had been up to this point, and I was like, yeah, someone's dying, easy. And I knew it. I knew it had to be somebody big, but
that's a great point. This was TV PG. This shit was not PG. First off, let's be honest about that. Fucking Gambit getting his fucking shit, Wolverine getting his adamantium ripped out of him. I was watching this with my fucking 4-year-old, and I was like, this ain't... What the fuck? Like,
gotta start early.
But anyways, sorry I interrupted. Continue.
No,
I just wanted to point that out.
No, I agree. It was pretty out there. I actually didn't know the rating. I didn't pay attention to it, but that is interesting that they rated it so low, because it does have some moments where I was just like, God damn. And I mean, especially with like Bastion at the end, where his like face is all contorted and shit, and like his eyes like hanging out of the socket, and it like recontorts his face back into some semblance of what it was. I was like, Jesus, dude. As a kid, I would have been terrified of some shit like that, you know? Like, that would have been wild to me. But yeah, I knew it was going to be somebody big. I didn't know who it was going to be, but with the amount of screen time that Gambit got, I was kind of worried. However, this brings back the point that I made earlier about Bishop and how he didn't get a whole lot of screen time in this season, but I bet you he'll get more screen time in the next season. And even though Gambit got quite a bit of screen time in the first half of this season, and then was mentioned in pretty much every episode after, as some kind of like memory or recanting of previous events and so forth, and obviously Rogue's like drive for the rest of the show. If you have seen it, and of course I already said spoilers, but I'm going to say it again, the post-credit scene of this introduces fucking Apocalypse, and obviously that just means he's going to be bringing Gambit back as Death, one of his fucking four horsemen, which brings me to my point, is like him as Death, one of the horsemen, like in the next season, he's gonna get a shit ton of screen time, I guarantee it. Now I don't know the like overall stipulation about being resurrected by Apocalypse and whether or not that just makes you a mindless servant for the rest of your existence at that point, or if there's some way that you can undo that so they can redeem his character and bring him back to life in a positive way, or if he's going to die outright one way or another. I don't know, but either way, I'm pumped for it. I think it's going to be sick, especially if we get more Skeleton Gambit, because holy shit, fucking dope. Period.
Seeing that post-credit scene, or not even the post-credit scene, but just like the way the show ends with the team getting split up across time, I have a theory that season 2 is probably going to follow two very, very famous X-Men stories, Days of Future Past and Age of Apocalypse. I think that's the route that they're going here, and honestly, I fuck with that, because Days of Future Past is probably the story that I know the most about, and it's fucking intense. Honestly, I need to read that. I need to just like read that comic.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was awesome. But first question is, where's Wolverine and Morph? Where are they? But
that's true.
Secondly, most of the team sent back to 3000 BC before Apocalypse's rise to power, and then Jean and Scott sent forward in time to when Apocalypse is already ruling the Earth. But then they get to obviously see Nathan, that's very young, and there's something with that chick. I think she's like their daughter or something. Some other screwed up fucking thing. But yeah, I think you're right that Age of Apocalypse is going to be a very, very big part of next season. And just with how much they pushed I don't want to say graphics, but like just the intensity of everything. Season 2 is going to just be fucking wild. And yeah, it'll probably be the new gold standard for the MCU at this moment, which kind of like 97 is right now.
What do you think
And
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I want to touch on the graphics real quick, because
or animation style.
Yeah,
brains barely working today.
I'm more referring to the graphic nature of this show.
Yeah.
Because, like, the original show came out at a time where censorship in children's cartoons was very, very strict. Like, you couldn't have Spider-Man punching people. You couldn't have Wolverine stabbing people with his fucking claws. You couldn't have, like, any swear words or anything like that. And it's like this show, like, I mean, obviously this show was made for the people that watched the original show.
Yeah.
And I like that it recognizes that we've all grown up, and it's giving us what we wanted from the original show that we couldn't have back then. Like,
yeah.
The bit where right before Wolverine gets his adamantium ripped out, where he stabs Magneto through the back, the way that shot lingered on that for a minute, and it like panned over to all the other X-Men like staring on in shock. That was such a fucking impactful scene, knowing that the whole original show, he never stabs anybody.
Yeah.
Like, the only time you ever see Wolverine using his claws in the original show is when he's cutting through a wall or slashing up a fucking robot or some shit. He never stabs a human.
Oh, one thing that I did forget to mention. Kang. We did not mention Kang Conqueror at all.
Like currently, or what do you mean in the show?
The dome at the end. That's Ramatet's fucking thing. A Kang variant.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I forgot that.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, shit.
Because one of the theories that I've heard is that, yeah, the next season is going to deal... I guess there's some storyline where Kang tries to recruit Apocalypse to be, like, his heir or whatever. And Apocalypse says no. So that's another one that I've seen floating around.
I think that'd be super fun, especially considering
yeah.
considering the state of Kang in the MCU right now. It'd be a cool way to, like, get him back into the fold.
And give him justice.
Yeah.
I know Apocalypse has like ancient Egyptian roots, so I guess I didn't even really make that connection. I thought it was just like when they showed up in like ancient Rome or in ancient Egypt. I mean, did I say Roman? Egyptian.
Yeah, you said Rome.
Well, when they showed up in ancient Egypt, like Apocalypse was the first thing I thought of. I didn't even make the connection to Kang, but that's actually really cool.
Yeah. So I mean, like the kind of plot points that they dropped at the end have way more reaching like-ness with everything. Because I mean, we got Captain America, Iron Man. I know Hulk wasn't technically Hulk because it was more same with Mr. Fantastic, but then like Black Panther, Cloak and Dagger, Daredevil, Omega Red, and them.
King T'Chaka specifically.
Yeah. Oh, that was Chadwick Boseman. Like 100%. That was. I loved that. But
no.
Yeah,
that was his dad. That was King T'Chaka.
Oh, it was T'Chaka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said by name King T'Chaka.
Well,
which I thought was interesting because they didn't say, they specifically decided not to say T'Challa.
But it was animated to look like Chadwick Boseman.
It did look a lot like Chadwick Boseman, yeah. But they said T'Chaka. So I'm assuming a younger version of him, but...
Well, the Black Panther showed up in the original X-Men series, and I believe he also showed up in the Fantastic Four series that was also canon to this animated universe, and it was T'Chaka. T'Chaka was the Black Panther in that universe.
Interesting.
Which, honestly, that was my favorite part about those cameos. Seeing Daredevil and Black Panther and Iron Man.
Daredevil too, yeah.
Seeing all of those characters exactly how they were drawn and animated in that original animated shared universe was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Even the Hulk. even when Morph turns into the Hulk, that was the animated series Hulk.
Yep.
I loved that.
And then there was also Mr. Fantastic for a second, but it was Morph again. But Mr. Fantastic was still there. Peter Parker and Mary Jane, specifically, which is who I was talking to Toby about a minute ago, are standing in the window of the TV things or whatever while they're watching the news unfold and shit. And
when you asked, she made an appearance.
And Quicksilver.
Yeah.
When you asked if I caught that, I almost, I wanted to laugh because, when I saw those two standing together, it almost got a fucking tear-jerk reaction out of me.
Well, yeah, when you mentioned the cliffhanger at the end of Spider-Man, I'm like, oh, fuck, I hope he's seen, him actually interacting with Mary Jane, so, I'm assuming it's implied that he did, in fact, find the real Mary Jane based on Madame Web's, mysterious quote or whatever. It just doesn't give you the context and how it happened, of course, but...
The, like I said, that animated Spider-Man show is literally my favorite cartoon of all time. It's like Christopher Daniel Barnes' voice is the voice that I hear when I'm reading a Spider-Man comic. That is the pinnacle of Spider-Man for me. So when I saw those two standing together, my first thought was it was like seeing the climax of a romance story. I was like, he found her.
I bet you're full of shit, because the first thought that you had when you seen that was definitely, oh fuck, I need to go get some toilet paper right now. It's my pants.
No, that was when I saw a few episodes prior when they had Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was true. I seen, dude, when I seen even though I knew it was Morph changing into him, when I seen him change into the Hulk, I was like, you're fucking with me. There's no way, dude. And then when Rogue goes to visit Captain America, I was like, oh, man. And then also, I figured there was going to be some hints at... what is the name of that fucking AI? That Hydra dude with the glasses that turns himself into the AI program. Zola, yeah. I thought that they were going to go into that somewhere, and I think it was implied, but they didn't actually mention Zola at all. But I heavily assumed that Zola was going to be brought up to some degree.
Yeah. I just really liked seeing them not reinvent those characters and keep them true to the way that they were in those original cartoons.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. The fucking old school Iron Man suit. That was dope as shit to see.
Yeah, God. And even Cap. When their first interaction with Cap and Rogue, I was like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah. That was fucking sick.
And I mentioned this to you guys in the group chat. There was a couple of characters that showed up, just a brief cameo, that I don't believe has ever been in the MCU or ever showed up in that animated universe from the 90s. Cloak and Dagger showed up. Yeah. That was fucking cool.
There's a Cloak and Dagger show, I think. Or there was.
Yeah, but it's not... I've never seen it. It's not very good from what I heard.
Yeah, I haven't.
And I don't believe it's canon to the MCU either.
Yeah, it's basically just ABC Family version of Cloak and Dagger. So take that for what it's worth, by all means.
Lame.
Cloak and Dagger need justice done to them because they are fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to see some more of them as well. I'm gonna go ahead and say it though. I guarantee you, I can just personally tell you that one of my favorite things that I've seen in this whole show was Magneto sculpting his throne out of the corpse of a Sentinel. That shit was just so dope.
Dude, Magneto fucking stole every scene he was in.
I know it's just a chair. It's just a chair, but it's a really cool chair, all right? I want a throne built out of the corpse of a sentinel, because that would be fucking sick.
Dude, and another thing that we didn't mention in regards to just the graphic nature, when Magneto puts his helmet on Charles's head and then begins to crush the helmet, oh my god, dude. Magneto was completely fucking amazing throughout this whole show.
I love Magneto as a character, or as a villain rather, because he's not inherently evil.
Oh yeah.
He just wants what he truly believes is best. And I think that makes a really good villain.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. No, Magneto, I loved his arc throughout the whole show. Starting off as like, okay, Charles said I need to do this. We're going to do this. But then the second Genosha happens, and then obviously he gets captured, and then Moira lets him loose and stuff like that. And then he's like, nope, I was right the whole fucking time, and even she knows. She was like, Magneto was right. Like, this sucks. So, yeah. Love Magneto's arc.
I thought this show did a really good job at giving the spotlight to characters that don't typically get the spotlight. Because, like, we were talking about Wolverine not getting a whole lot of screen time.
You don't need it.
I know you thought of that as a negative, and obviously I love Wolverine, but I thought it was really nice to see him kind of take a backseat in this one. Like, Wolverine's always the poster boy for the X-Men. He's always, like, the main character. And it was cool to see Cyclops get some cool moments, or, like, Storm got a whole ass, like, really interesting arc.
With Forge?
Like,
yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I loved seeing the not necessarily the side characters, but the characters that don't get as much focus put on them typically kind of take a front seat in this show. Cyclops specifically, I've never really liked Cyclops as a character. He was fucking cool in this show.
Oh yeah. And I mean, his arc as well was just as not just as good as Magneto's, but Cyclops' arc was like hard hitting. You know, having a son. Oh shit, we've got to give him up. We've got to send him to the future so he can live. Oh wait, this ain't even my fucking wife. This is a clone. What the fuck? And then Professor X, you know, being like, okay, all right. Or just, well, I know Professor X later said that he wanted them to get away. That's why he was bringing Magneto in. But Cyclops, you know, wasn't about that and was expecting to have to lead the X-Men. So Cyclops had a lot thrown on his plate this season. And great arc again. Great arc with Cyclops.
Oh, yeah.
And aside from, like, the character development, dude, he was a fucking badass in this show. Like, that very first episode when they're fighting the fucking Trask and his Sentinels, when they blow up the fucking Blackbird and they're Rogue and Storm and everybody are flying around catching all the X-Men, and he's like, good job, team, see you on the ground, and then he just fucking optic blasts his way to the ground. That was the sexiest shit. I jizzed all over myself.
Yeah.
That was such a fucking cool scene.
I think my favorite scene with Cyclops was at the very end, the very last episode, where he just he takes his shit off, and he's just like, nah, we're full sending into this shit, and he blasts the living shit out of that, the big floating rock thing.
Asteroid X or whatever.
Yeah.
Asteroid.
He just opened up on that motherfucker. I was like, man, if only he had done that to Bastion. It would have ripped him a whole new one. Maybe even a couple new ones.
Yeah, I was saying you would have ripped him a set of new anuses.
I actually started
matching pair.
rewatching the show. I started rewatching the show yesterday, and I know it's been a while for you guys since you've seen the first episode, but it's kind of fresh in my mind. That very first fight scene in like the warehouse, like at the very beginning of the first episode, when Cyclops is just running around the warehouse like optic blast jumping, you know what I mean? Like he kind of like jumps, blasts, and shoots himself backwards. I don't know why, but seeing that, realizing that that's a thing he can do, I was like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
It feels like straight out of a 90s fucking comic, and I love it.
No, Toby, to answer your question, or not even a question, I watched the first episode yesterday because, I've got Jacob watching it now, and I think we're up to like episode 7 already.
Hell yeah.
So it's going good. But he's also been wanting to watch Spider-Man Unlimited, which,
Spider-Man Unlimited? Damn.
Yeah.
That's a fucking deep cut.
Yeah, I popped up. I would rather just be watching X-Men. I haven't really liked Spider-Man Unlimited yet.
Spider-Man Unlimited's not very good. It was like a spin-off of the 90s animated series, and it just wasn't ever as good.
Yeah, that's obvious.
It is kind of a weird premise, though. Like, Spider-Man... Like, the whole thing takes place on the High Evolutionary's, like, planet, or whatever the fuck. I forget what it's called, but... Counter-Earth? I think it's called Counter-Earth.
Counter-Earth is just what it's called.
So I just backtracked in our chat, well, with Toby and I's chat, when I was watching it for the first time, 97, and I was trying to find out, or trying to recall some of the big points that I had sent to Toby while I was watching it, because I was making a point to like try to text him these things so I remember to talk about them.
Yeah.
And one of them was Doom. But I'm like spacing on the scene itself, so you're gonna have to like refresh my memory, because I remember seeing him, and that's why I had sent you that. I just sent Doom, but I didn't fucking say anything after that.
It's when everything's going down with Magneto at the very end, I think, when it's like flipping through all the different cameos and shit.
Yeah.
There's like a conference going on. I don't know if it's like the president or what the fuck it is, but they're talking to Doom, and I honestly don't really remember the context of it either. I just got super geeked that Dr. Doom showed up in a thing.
Yeah, he was on a TV screen, I think. He was on some kind of screen with his face.
Yeah, he was on a TV screen. I can't remember exactly when it was. It wasn't during like the main, like when it was really just blowing through the cameos and stuff like that. It was in a episode or two beforehand. Part of me wants to say it was like some bad guys talking or something, but I can't remember exactly when that took place.
Well, it made me sweaty and I loved it. And then another thing I had sent Toby was the little call out to the live action X-Men, where I can't remember if it was Jean or Cyclops that was talking to
Cyclops
after he handed him a suit, and he's like, "What did you expect? Black leather?" I was like, man, that was good. That was good. I liked that a lot. That's some brownie points on my end, but yeah.
Easter eggs in Marvel it warms my.
It just butters my biscuit, dude. It butters all of my biscuits.
Whether it's a comic book reference or a fucking movie reference or whatever the fuck, it always just makes me happy.
This was another thing that we didn't touch up on. That I sent you and I asked you, how the fuck electromagnetic like powers from Magneto, how does that resist Rogue's powers? Like, where's the logic. I don't understand like how Magneto can resist Rogue's powers. It had, like controlling metal and shit. In my head, I just don't understand how the fuck that just gets a free pass from Rogue sapping the shit. You know what I'm saying?
I meant to look into that because, to be entirely honest with you, I don't really know either.
Because
I don't either.
It would make more sense if, like, Wolverine, for example, was able to resist her powers because, I mean, it's his fucking bones, you know, coming out of his, extending out of his fists, and also he can regenerate and stuff, you know, like, that would make sense. He can regenerate. It's just his skeleton, you know, that is growing a little bit, so whatever. That would make more sense to me than Magneto being able to resist Rogue's powers.
All it says is that, the constant electromagnetic force field that he maintains around his body, which insulates him from her abilities.
Yeah,
that's
but
all I got.
Rogue's powers are not electromagnetic. Like,
I think it's saying that, like, they're not technically touching. Like, she's not touching Magneto. She's touching the force field around Magneto.
I mean,
yeah, basically he's got an electromagnetic condom completely around his body that nothing's getting in.
What if he? What if she pegs him?
Still,
I don't know why I went there, but
he's got the electromagnetic force in his beehole as well.
He's got an electromagnetic douche in his ass.
I don't know if that whole, like, Rogue and Magneto thing was part of the comics or not, but honestly, I couldn't get behind it.
Yeah,
I didn't really like it.
Not a fan.
I thought it was kind of weird, and considering the fact that this show takes place in the 90s, Magneto was a child during World War II, and Rogue is, like, in her mid-20s.
It's creepy.
Quite a bit of an age gap, yeah.
And they establish that, like, when he first starts, like, hinting that there was a romantic history between them, Rogue says, that was a long time ago. How long ago? How long ago was it?
Dude, I don't know. But I think that, like, I don't know. I understand Rogue's perspective on it and wanting to have somebody that she can touch. I get that. But I still don't... I'm not accepting the whole, like, electromagnetic condom thing. Like, that still doesn't make sense to me because, like, if Rogue was made of metal, I understand. Or if she was made of, like, something that is repelled by an electromagnetic field, I would understand.
Even if she was made of metal, she could still touch him. I mean, Wolverine completely stabs him through with his claws. So, I mean, I don't know. It's probably something way more scientific than what I honestly care to go in depth about with, like, you know, neutrons and electrons and shit like that. I don't know.
That's entirely fair, but
science shit.
All I'm saying is they could have probably picked, like... Matter of fact, they didn't even have to pick anybody. They're fucking mutants. They could have made a whole mutant that is just a puzzle piece for Rogue, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could have made a whole different mutant that had a power set that was compatible with her to be a love interest. So the fact that Magneto... And the Magneto and her thing, I already didn't like, aside from all of that. But, but even if you take that out, like, it's weird. Okay? So they could have definitely just had somebody else fill that role.
I think Gambit and Rogue have always been, like, my Marvel power couple. Mm-hmm. They're just fucking good together. Like, in that first episode when she's, like, they're at the party, they're looking for Roberto, and she's, like, Gambit and Rogue are standing up on the balcony, and Rogue is, like, kind of getting in her head about, like, she's watching all these people dancing and having a good time, kissing, making out, fucking, whatever. and she's getting in her head about like, oh, if I even brushed one of their arms, I could send them to the fucking ER. And Gambit says, any man would be a fool to not take your hand in a dance or something like that. I was like, that's fucking cute, dude. That's wholesome as shit. Like, Gambit knows that she could totally fucking kill him. He doesn't care.
Just like, that's fucking cute.
Kill me. See if I give a shit.
That's I don't know. It's just a good fucking love story. Like, he is fully aware that she has the ability to fucking kill him just by touching him. And he loves her so much that he doesn't care.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that is like the perfect fucking Marvel power couple, and they shouldn't fuck with it.
Yeah. I don't know.
They did. They killed.
I feel like Gambit's death. Granted, I think they handled Gambit's death pretty well.
It was an awesome way to go out, but still, I didn't want to see it.
I thought it was impactful, especially with Rogue there. But I think it would have been significantly more impactful if they hadn't done the whole Rogue and Magneto thing.
Yeah.
Like, you remember how impactful, granted the movie wasn't great, but do you remember how impactful Gwen Stacy's death was in the Amazing Spider-Man 2?
No.
It was so impactful that they referenced it in his cameo in the new Spider-Man.
Facts.
I'm only saying no because I've only watched Amazing Spider-Man 2 once, and I don't... Like, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't remember basically the rest of the movie.
The rest of the movie's garbage. The only good part of the movie is like the last maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah, some of the choreography is pretty cool. Some of the fight scenes are pretty cool, but a lot of the writing was just not very good.
I think the final battle between Electro and the clock tower thing with Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy's death was all like really solid. But I remember seeing that movie in theaters, and when Gwen Stacy died and like Andrew Garfield's performance there, like, you felt like he just lost the love of his life.
Yeah.
It was impactful. I think Rogue losing Gambit could have hit that same mark if they hadn't established, like, the whole cheating. Let's just call it what it is. She fucking cheated on Gambit.
Well, I still think it makes it just as, if not more impactful, because like her logic behind it is sound, wanting to lead the mutants and stuff, and it's not like she's like, oh yeah, she's not wanting to do it because of who she's with. I mean, obviously Gambit switched places with Magneto, she would have been there in a heartbeat, but it makes it that much more of like an extra gut punch that she's like, yeah, you know what, no, fuck this, I just want to be with him. Oh, wait, he's going to go out in a blaze of glory and be a goddamn badass, and now I'm left by myself? Well, fuck. I fucked up.
That was another thing I didn't quite get, and I don't understand the hierarchy of Genosha, but, like, did it have to be, like, a king and queen situation? It couldn't have been, like, two ambassadors, and Rogue could have just stayed with Gambit as an ambassador next to Magneto? You know what I mean?
I think the politicians in the show basically set that up because they didn't want Magneto running it by himself because obviously they still don't trust him. So then that's when he floated the idea of, oh, hey, if I have an X-Men do it with me,
yeah, but
then
I'm just saying, like, in the relationship thing, like, she couldn't have just been like a vice president. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't have to be his queen. You know what I mean? Like, she could have just been like a vice president or a Monarch 2 or whatever, and still stayed with Gambit, They just, I don't know. I think that was probably the only thing that I felt was a little bit forced in the whole show was Rogue and Magneto and all that shit. Because I think if they would have just played around with her and Gambit's relationship a little bit more instead of having her just say, oh, well, I'm the Queen of Genosha now, so I have to go to this person that I also kind of like because we had a fling back in the day when I was a child. And yeah, it's getting a little dicey, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of all over the place, but
she's like, I got to see his old balls.
His old metal balls.
He was like 45 and I was 15.
Oof. Yikes.
Yeah,
that's not great. But yeah, no, it overall, take that little bit out. It's a great show. Fantastic show.
Oh, yeah. Overall, the story was very impactful. I'm more excited about where they go with X-Men than the MCU as a whole, even though we do have Deadpool and Wolverine coming up, which I'm wondering what kind of 97 references are going to be in the live action. So that'd be cool to see. But this is the best thing MCU has done, even if it's not their technical canon in a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Long time.
I'm trying to remember the last, Marvel thing that I watched that I, really, really enjoyed. I want to say probably Multiverse of Madness was probably, the last really big Marvel thing that I enjoyed.
No Way Home.
Oh, wait, Guardians 3. Guardians 3 was probably the last really big thing.
The last thing that Marvel did that I enjoyed was Moon Knight, I think.
Oh, I loved Moon Knight. I really was hoping that we would have another season by now.
Yeah. I think Moon Knight is I don't think I've particularly enjoyed anything that the MCU has done since Moon Knight.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say Guardians 3, but the TV shows, the stuff hasn't been up to its normal quality. So even if I sit there and say, yeah, it's good, that's nowhere near Guardians 1 or Winter Soldier. It's nowhere near like that. So it's just been a dip in quality. Which this was thankfully a good return to form, because now it's okay, I can see myself being more excited about what the MCU is going to be doing in the future.
Yeah.
But I am still worried that we're just going to get bogged down with too much stuff.
I'm just really hoping that Deadpool 3 kind of brings things full circle for the MCU itself. Even though I don't think that we're ever going to have the MCU that I personally fell in love with ever again. I don't think that's ever going to be a thing anymore just because of the state that we're in, but I'm at least hoping that Deadpool 3 can bring things full circle and we get some pretty solid shit, and I know Multiverse of Madness was not entirely well received. I know there was a lot of people that weren't a huge fan of it, but I still think that if we're going to at least go to that level of quality, I'd be satisfied,
Yeah.
Just because I know we're not gonna get Iron Man 1 again, we're not gonna get the Winter Soldier again or Civil War. It's become so bogged down with abundance. There's just so much. The 90% of the people that I talk to nowadays about MCU stuff that aren't you guys and Peyton, they say, oh, I'm not really into the MCU, or I'm not into Marvel. And most of the time, at first, I would ask why. Just curiosity. I don't care. To each their own. You like what you like. I'm not gonna bitch at you about it. But it still intrigues me as to why somebody doesn't. And
yeah,
they almost always tell me because it's just too confusing. There's just too much. And I was like, that's fair. Like I've been with it since the beginning, so naturally I do understand it for the most part. Like even I still am confused about certain plot lines and shit like that, but for the most part, I get it because I've been there since Iron Man 1. I was in the theater during Iron Man 1. I don't think I've missed a single MCU movie in theaters except for maybe a couple, but for the most part, I've seen them all in theaters. I've followed it ever since. I've seen all the shows except for like 2 of them, I think, as far as the MCU ones go. And it's just a shame, because I like talking about it. But even as somebody that's a huge fan of the MCU, even I can see that like they're not putting out the quality instead of the quantity, and it sucks.
God, this is okay. So yeah, just looking at this from Phase 1, I missed 3 of the movies in theaters. Phase 2 and 3, I saw everything in theaters. Phase 4 didn't obviously see Black Widow in theaters or Shang-Chi or Eternals. We did see No Way Home. I saw Multiverse in theaters. I did not watch Thor 2 or Thor 4, Black Panther 2 in theaters. Didn't watch Quantumania in theaters. So I don't know if you see a pattern there, but like Phase 4 on, the MCU has been just, which we've already discussed in another video with a lot of technical difficulties. You should check that one out. But
we need to probably do a part 2 of that one.
Just
to clarify.
After Deadpool. After Deadpool.
Yeah, we'll do a post Deadpool 3 update on that one.
I rag on the MCU a lot not because I don't like it, but because my Marvel is X-Men 97. Like it's that vibe.
Yeah.
That's the Marvel that I fell in love with, and that's the Marvel that I still love to this day. And granted, the MCU isn't that. It's still really cool to see these characters put to screen, even if it's not great. Like, if you had told 10-year-old me that one day they would have a Black Widow movie, I'd be like, huh? That's fucking cool. Love that.
Yeah.
Even if the movie's not great. Like,
which it wasn't.
I like seeing... I enjoy seeing the MCU movies continuing to be made and continuing to bring people into the same level of fascination with Marvel that I had when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Dude,
it's cool that the legacy is still just as strong, if not stronger now than it always has been.
I am usually a pretty good, like, I don't even know if I would consider myself optimist so much as a realist, but like I try to stay as positive as I possibly can when it comes to Marvel, just because I do, in my opinion, enjoy more of the MCU than I don't enjoy, And the only reason I start bagging on the MCU is because I expect better. Like I expect, like their bar has already been set, and I can't tell you the last time I went to a Endgame level event. You know what I mean? Like we had like how many fucking people in the theater with us when we watched that? You were there, weren't you? Weren't you with us when we watched Endgame, Toby?
Yep.
We had like 9 people in that fucking theater together, and it was packed. The whole theater was packed. In Centerville.
Who the fuck was it? It was me, you, your ex, Cassidy.
Yep.
Orion, Ethan.
We had Snyder was there.
Yeah, Snyder was there. We had a whole bunch of fucking people.
Quentin was there.
Quentin was there. We basically took the entirety of the fucking Centerville Cap 2 team with us.
We had like half a row to ourselves. And then we even ran into some people too that we knew from there, and like the whole theater was packed, and it was just like it didn't feel like a movie. It felt like an event. And I haven't been to a Marvel movie since then that has felt like an event, you know, other than maybe No Way Home. But
yeah,
it's because I'm going to say something controversial here. Endgame wasn't a movie; it was an event.
Yeah,
like
it's a
if
big
you
fucking deal.
You can't just watch Endgame. Like, have you tried to go and just watch Endgame without watching anything else? Just stand alone, just watch Endgame? It doesn't work.
No, if I ever want to watch Endgame, I 9 times out of 10 will watch Infinity War first.
Yeah, you almost have to.
Yeah, I agree.
But even, I mean, No Way Home was still a fun time. That was still a cool thing, and that felt big, you know? It felt big, it felt exciting, but, like... And I know...
It also felt like its own movie.
You also can't just pump out endgames, I understand that, but, like... It's still, even Iron Man, very first Iron Man, with Robert Downey Jr., felt fucking big, you know? As contained of a story as it was, it still felt like a big moment in movie history when it came out. And we know now that it was a big deal, you know, it kickstarted the whole fucking MCU, but it still felt in that moment like it was a big deal. Like my little kid brain was just sitting there like fried, like, oh my god, this is huge, dude. I love this. This is fantastic. And even to this day, I still get those feelings when I watch it. And that's just the first installment of that series of movies, you know, like, so at the very least, I'd love to see that again, you know, not quite an event like Endgame, but still an event in its own right, you know?
Yeah.
But
I distinctly remember I didn't go see Iron Man in theaters. I didn't see Iron Man 1 until, like, I think I rented it from Family Video, actually.
It's been a minute.
It's been a fucking minute. But, I distinctly remember when that movie came out, I was not that pumped for it. I was like, oh, they're making a fucking movie about a side character. Cool. But
now look at us.
yeah, admittedly, like
Joey, that's the dumbest hot take I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, like up until that point, like Iron Man wasn't a big character by any means.
Oh no,
I mean,
I'm fully aware. Yeah,
he had his own. He was a founding member of the Avengers. He had his own comics and like he had his own animated series, but that was about it. And even the animated series didn't do very well. Nobody really remembers it.
Yeah.
He kind of like at that point, my fucking knowledge of Iron Man was limited to his cameo appearances in the fucking Spider-Man cartoon. Or in, like, Ultimate Alliance. Him showing up in Ultimate Alliance, again, as more of a side character. So I remember not being super pumped for that movie when it came out, and then I was, like, very pleasantly surprised when that movie was, like, actually really fucking good.
Yeah.
Because that came at a time when the Marvel movies that were coming out, aside from, like, the Spider-Man trilogy, which... It's kind of crazy to think that Iron Man came out only a year after Spider-Man 3. But aside from the Spider-Man movies coming out, the rest of the Marvel movies were not very good at that point.
No, not at all. Blade, Elektra, Fantastic Four, 1 and 2. Like,
I'm pissed that you incorporated Blade into that, but yeah, I see your point.
yeah, dude, you gotta say Blade Trinity. That was, yeah.
That's fair.
I liked the original Blade, the first Blade.
Oh, first 2 Blades are fucking amazing. Third one, not so much.
I haven't seen the second one in a long time. I'll have to...
Second one's so good.
I
I actually like the
rewatch
second
it.
one better than the first.
Yeah, I know I've seen it, but it's been a hot minute. I need to rewatch them before the new Blade movie comes out, which I'm hoping is still a thing, but we haven't heard any fucking word about it in a while, so...
Yeah.
Well, even if we don't get that Blade movie for a while, we have a fucking Blade video game to look forward to.
That's fair.
That's pretty exciting.
I can get behind that.
Speaking of Marvel video games, we've got a lot to look forward to. We got Wolverine, Insomniac's Wolverine coming out soon.
Insomniac's Venom before that.
I've actually been. I know we touched on it briefly in the group chat, and we all kind of had like a meh kind of reaction to it. But that Marvel Rivals, the like Overwatch type thing with like heroes. I've been watching some gameplay of that, and it looks pretty damn fun. I'm not gonna lie.
What's it on?
I checked on PlayStation. I checked the PlayStation Store, and it doesn't look like it's on there. I meant to look it up to see if it was.
What's the name of it?
Marvel Rivals. I was gonna check that out before we got on here because I wanted to talk about it on here.
It's definitely on computer. I'll say that much.
I think it's coming to PlayStation, but it's not out yet. And I also am pretty sure it was free. I think it's free to play.
Marvel Rivals will launch on PC across Microsoft Windows and Mac.
Yeah.
So it's not.
No official word on a console release as of writing.
That's gay. I don't like that.
But if it does well, they'll port it. I mean, if it does well enough and people want it on consoles, they'll put it on consoles.
Yeah, you just gotta get a laptop and a gaming laptop, Toby.
I know, but regardless, we do have quite a bit of like pretty solid Marvel shit that's not related to the MCU coming to look forward to, and we got pretty far off topic, but back on more X-Men 97 related stuff. I really hope, I think this kind of goes without saying, granted my opinion on this era of Marvel, but I really hope that the success of this show spawns more of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be really cool, and honestly, I think it would be really beneficial for Marvel to kind of have like a little soft reboot of the universe, not like separate from the MCU, just kind of like dig back into this 90s animated series universe. Bring back the fucking Spider-Man show that everybody wants to see. Give us a fucking Cloak and Dagger show set in this universe. Or a Daredevil show. Daredevil was a character that showed up in a lot of these TV shows, but he was always a side character. Like, he was always just there for like an episode or two, and then he dipped. I would love to see a Daredevil animated series. That would be fucking awesome. Sit in this same universe with the fucking Kingpin from the Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah.
I'd watch the fuck out of that.
That'd be pretty
cool. It'd be good.
I think Marvel would benefit greatly from having a little soft animated reboot.
That'd be sick. As much as I liked this, I think I would probably be like thoroughly intrigued with some more animated shows in the same vein, you know.
Oh yeah, make it its own shared universe.
Yeah, I'd be into that. The MCUA
or the MACU, Marvel Animated Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I'd be into that. But unless you guys have any other like big X-Men 97 topics that you want to discuss, I have one question for you, but I'll let you guys go first if you had anything.
Justice for Gambit! Okay.
I back that.
That's all I got.
Toby, got anything?
If there's one thing I do know about X-Men from the comics, it's that every single member of the fucking X-Men dies.
Yeah, doesn't mean I like to see it.
Like, they die all the fucking time, and they are constantly being resurrected. Gambit will be back.
Yeah, but he's not yet.
Whether it's as a horseman of apocalypse or whatever the fuck they end up doing, he's coming back. He's not gone.
Fuck, better be.
Well,
I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you senseless.
that's a good segue into my question, because my question was, because Archangel, I'm pretty sure, was the original Death horseman from Apocalypse's Four Horsemen. Who do you think they're going to pick for the other three? War, Pestilence, and Famine.
Oh God, I have no idea on any of that.
Who do you want them to be? Because obviously they're not going to be taking anybody, I'm assuming, from the original four, if they've already replaced Archangel as Death. So I'm assuming they'll probably pick characters that we're familiar with based on this show, you know.
Just as long as Angel and Psylocke and whoever the third person, or Magneto, and as long as they're not it, because I don't want to relive X-Men Apocalypse again.
Well, yeah, neither do I. That was fucking awful. But,
shit.
The only one I could think of that they might keep is Rogue as Famine. Because Rogue's a pivotal point. But I don't think they'll do that just for the sole fact that her on the opposite side of Gambit's coin. You know what I'm saying? So I think they'll keep her not as part of the Four Horsemen just for that fact, you know? I feel like Gambit probably took her place in that lineup.
Realistically, yeah, I don't even have any guesses. Like, I don't.
Toby?
Like,
I don't really have any guesses either, but there's two characters that I have yet to show up in any, like, significant capacity in this show that I'd like to see. Warpath and Psylocke. I'd love to see them, like, actually done justice.
Yeah.
Psylocke
they were both they were both in the movie. They were both in a couple of the movies, but they just weren't portrayed very well.
Well, Psylocke was in the show, too. Like, during the end when they're showing people throughout.
Oh, shit, was she?
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
Oh, also, here's a random question. Is Mystique dead in the animated series? Because I did not see Mystique.
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I know she was a pretty big fucking part of the original show.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're absolutely right. She didn't really show up at all in this.
If she did, I completely missed it. But, yeah.
I don't think she was in it at all.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing her. But maybe she'll be one of the Horsemen.
She's referenced. She's referenced in the show because she is, Rogue's mom. She's Rogue and Nightcrawler's mother.
That's right.
And I only know that because of the original show. I don't even know if that's canon in the comics, but it's a thing in the show, and I'm pretty sure they reference it in 97.
I think it is from the comics, because I think I heard Eric from New Rockstars talk about that. Pretty sure he brought that up in one of the breakdowns that I watched. Speaking of New Rockstars, his guess is that Apocalypse is going to try to recruit Omega level mutants, and he's under the impression that he might see Jean, Storm, and Magneto fill the other three roles.
That would be pretty fucking cool.
That would hurt.
Yeah.
Imagine. God damn. But
I think. Well, I was gonna say I think Storm has enough of a moral code to not go with that, but I guess Gambit also does. He's just finding ways around it.
Yeah. That's also against his will. He's kind of being brought back to life by somebody. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty pumped for whatever they bring to us, and I am intrigued by Apocalypse as a character. That's why I was super pumped to see Apocalypse. I was sorely disappointed by X-Men Apocalypse, unfortunately. But
Yep, it's dumb shit.
it was bad. It was
bad.
It was just not good, and it really like triple sucks because I love Oscar Isaac so much. I do, like with a burning passion deep within my loins. I love Oscar Isaac, and yeah, it hurt in like 30 different ways to watch that movie, but pretty pumped. Pretty fucking pumped to see where they go with Apocalypse in the animated series, because that's going to be pretty fun. But also Jean's daughter is the one that they were talking to in their future timeline.
Yeah.
So that's something that'll be pretty interesting, especially if Cable becomes involved again, which I'm pretty sure he will, because I think he's still alive. Yeah, right. He's still alive at the end. Oh no. Nathan is in the
one of those at the end.
Yeah. Okay, so he will be there to some degree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. But no, I think that's about all I had. But if you guys have anything else you'd like to say, any other shout outs or spoilers or anything,
I don't have any spoilers.
Anything to anticipate, or?
I'm just looking forward to seeing where they go with the second season, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Apocalypse and his goofy ass fucking voice.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And his clown makeup.
Yeah. Dude, I love that they kept the voice. Because his voice in the original cartoon was so fucking Apocalypse. I'm so glad they kept it. It's so dumb.
They stayed true to everything, man. That's why it was successful, and that's why the second season is going to be just as successful.
Hopefully, if they either get the director guy back, or they get somebody else that's just as passionate to direct this.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, hit me up.
Oh man, look at that! You got the fucking director hat on. Wait, hang on.
I'm not dropping any hints or anything, but Marvel, call me.
Hit me up.
Especially if you wanna dig into the fucking Spider-Man animated series. I'm your guy.
Sorry, my director hat is in the living room, but I've got my pirate hat, so.
That's fair.
Yeah, I just got my normal hat, like normal.
Always got that tricorn on deck. But yeah, no, I'm pumped. Let's fucking see it. Let's see it happen, Disney. Come on now, Spider-Man. Let's get some Daredevil love. Let's get some more X-Men, obviously. I want to see some motherfucking Hulk. I want to see Hulk somewhere, dude. I'm itching to have some good Hulk shit, whether it's animated or live action. I don't care. I want to see something really cool done with the Hulk, and I need you guys to make it happen, okay? Because I'm losing my fucking mind over here.
You should check out the Incredible Hulk animated series.
Yeah,
it's on Disney Plus. It's only 2 seasons, I think. It's not nearly as long as the other ones, and it's really fucking good. Neil McDonough voices Bruce Banner, and he does a great fucking job.
Hell yeah. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I want to see Hulk in I want to see the Hulk in like a horror capacity. I want to see some dark shit, like some just fucked up Hulk stuff. I think would be really good.
Some some Immortal Hulk type shit. I'd fuck with that.
That would just be insane. I want to see some dark shit happening in the Hulk movies. Period. Or a show. Either way, but
100%. That's what the comics are for, my dude. The current Incredible Hulk comics that are running right now is some straight up fucking body horror type shit.
Yeah, I know.
I've talked to you about it.
That was the reason I said I want to see some of that shit in the shows or the movies or whatever. I want to see it. I want to see a Deadpool level mature like maturity, but for the Hulk in a more grim manner than a more comical one. You know what I'm saying? So,
big facts.
but anyway, that'll do for me. I think that's all I got. Thank you all for watching. If you guys have anything else you want to say, go ahead. Otherwise, make sure you like this video if you liked it. And comment down below, what is your favorite cameo from the X-Men 97 series? Which hero did you like to see that was not part of the main story, of course? And what do you expect, or what do you want to happen in Season 2 with Apocalypse and the Four Horsemen? Let us know down in the comments below.
Yeah.
And also go check out all of our other shit. Thanks.
Please.
Hell yeah.
We'll see you next time. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for joining us, Toby.
Anytime, buddy.
Peace.